Today I want to check in about a very important, perhaps a most important event that happened yesterday. Yes, it didn't happen on the line of a military clash. It happened in western Ukraine and it had military implications on the front of the war in the Ukraine in the most direct way. Yesterday morning when it happened, it was still unclear what the consequences would be. But by evening it became clear that the consequences for the Ukrainian army were simply catastrophic. So, in order, what happened? Within 2 minutes, some residents of the Ukrainian village of Volhynia observed about 7 cruise missiles flying overhead the Ukrainian villages, assumed that these missiles were flying at Kiev. However, a few minutes later, they landed at the Yavoriv training ground. The numbers in this legion was supposed to be up to 2,500–3,000 people here, a full-fledged brigade who was supposed to be thrown at the front line in the near future. After a few hours, several of them from Poland wrote, "That's it, we are coming home."
Henry told me that he was going to be trying to get to Poland because the area he was in was under attack and they were losing way too many people and it wasn't looking good. So as a last-ditch effort, him and a few people decided to flee and head for the border. They were shot at. They were able to get to the border safely, but when they got to the border, they were informed that any foreign volunteers, if they're recognized as volunteers, the Ukrainian government was sending them back against their will to the front lines, and basically that the government had been lying about letting people leave if they came to help. They had to pose as civilians and say they're with a humanitarian effort. Thankfully, there was an organization there that helped them and let them use their name to pass. But it was a good 2 hours of waiting after I had last talked to him to find out if he made it through the border or if they had taken him captive and stripped him of everything and sent him back. Thankfully, he was let through. He is safe in Poland. And we will be arranging transport for him to come back. This is not obviously anywhere near what we thought was going to happen. The news is not reporting on this at all. They're not reporting on this at all. This needs to be spread. They're not letting Americans, they're not letting any foreign aid leave. They're making them stay. They lied about letting people leave of their own accord. So we need to share this. We need to get it out. I don't know when Henry's going to make a TikTok.
Americans, British, tons of British dead. All right? They're not saying nothing. They're counting our dead as their dead. They're trying to send us to Kiev with no fucking weapons, no kit, no fucking plates. The people who are lucky enough to get weapons are only getting magazines with like 10 fucking rounds, okay? When they wanted to send us to Kiev, we said no. Our whole group, a bunch of Americans, Canadians, British. So they told us we had to get the fuck out or they were going to shoot us in the back. All right. So me, this British guy, and another American, we fucking hid in the back of an ambulance to get out. We got to the border and it was a whole nother mess. When you get to the border, anyone who has kit, anyone who has any military shit, they're pulling you out of the line and they're sending you back to the front.